And then I'll be doing a little presentation on career portfolios. Career portfolios are little, the evidences that you normally take during an interview. You know, they are evidences, you know, like your certificates and things like that you put into one folder that you normally take during an interview. You know, the panelists would normally ask you, have you got any evidences? You know, if they ask you a question, you know, if you've done any research, anything like that. These are little evidences that you catalog in your, sort of like a folder. I will teach you how it's done. It's a very, very important document that you take during an interview. It's called a career portfolio. Okay, so I'm going to do a presentation after interview skills on that. And at 3 p.m. we'll be having Digicel. Digicel is our employer that we have invited for this session. So she's going to be talking about graduate recruitment programs for Digicel, you know, how you can actually apply recruitment policies, recruitment opportunities that are available with Digicel. So she's going to take us through from 3 p.m. probably to 3 or 3:30, then we'll have some refreshments after that. Okay? Yeah, I just wanted just to sign your names so I can just cross-check your names from yesterday and today. That's the reason why we're just signing the names. We've got about 10 minutes left before I take you through these sessions. Don't worry about taking anything down because I have the presentations with me that I can send to your student number. And you can just print out. Yeah, I mean that you can save in your computer or in your laptop for future use. Please come right in. We've got about 7 minutes left to start. Some of the assistance that we provide from the USP Career Center is also interview skills. Like for students who have been shortlisted for interview, we can take them through our mock interview sessions. Yeah, like that includes all the students around the Pacific. We've had mock interview sessions for students from Solomon Islands. We've had one student who was interviewed in Solomon Islands, and they had the interview right in my room. But we were able to do a mock interview, you know, just going through with the students some of the probable questions that will be asked, you know, just to prepare him. And the student became very successful. He was selected for that job. When I worked in government, I used to work for government for about over 25 years. I used to be in the selection panel for all the posts in the Fiji government. So I used to do interview for immigration officers, for custom officers, for about 7 to 8 years. So I have all the probable questions with me. Like if you're a Fijian and you want to get to FNPF, I got all the probable questions that will be asked for FNPF. So we really assist students, you know, during the interview, because this is the last hurdle, you know. This is the last barrier that students will encounter, you know, when they want to apply for their job. And they've already applied, shortlisted, and this is the final hurdle, Yeah. In some situations, I've been in a panel with students. Some students have fainted in the room. You know, like they have panicked. Yeah, some students they've sweated profusely, and they are not sure, what to tell us. They mumble with their words. Yeah, some of them have not eaten in the morning. Yeah? They've come just for the job interview, and they faint during the session. Eh? Yeah. So it's very, very important that you prepare yourself well. Eh? This is the last hurdle for that dream job that you've always wanted. Eh? I've been in situations where you shake the hand of interviewee, and the person like scratches your hand. Yeah, those kind of situations happen too. Eh? They're trying to please the person, on the other side. Eh? Trying to get the job. It's pretty common here in Fiji too. Yeah, come right in. We're just about to start. We got about 3 minutes. We are currently printing your certificates as we speak, okay? But we are not able to give your certificates this week. So you'll probably pick up your certificates by maybe on Friday. Yeah, it should be okay, eh? On Friday, eh? If not, then it's probably Monday next week, eh? We want students to come now. We don't want them to be coming at 4 p.m. during the refreshments time. Eh? Okay, just to reiterate what I said earlier on, at 3 p.m. we've got one invited employer who's going to be coming here from Digicel. Right, they have their graduate recruitment program for this month, and they're actually recruiting people, people who have done networking, people who have done marketing, okay, probably students who have graduated with HR or will graduate with HR, right? So that's going to happen around 3 p.m. So we'll have that speaker come in at 3 p.m. Okay, so in the meantime, I will just take you through job interview skills just to prepare you. All right. If we have time, then I'll take you through career portfolios. That's another important document. Career portfolios are really the folder that you keep all your evidences in, your certificate, your birth certificate, and things like that. Things that will interest the panel. Things that you take during the interview. So it's very important that you learn how to collate all that very important information. Put it into a folder, then you take it during the interview. Sometimes the panel usually asks students to please bring all your evidences, all the facts. You have actually put in your letter, I went to university, did a degree, a Bachelor of Human Resources and Employee Relations. Where's the evidence? So they want all that hardcore evidence in one folder. Okay, so that's good. If I have time, I probably might have to take you through that session. Don't worry about taking down notes. Okay, you can come to my office at the careers office at the Career and Entrepreneurial Center. That's behind Westpac Bank, where you can pick up those presentations, or I can send you a soft copy, direct to your student account, and then you can save it into your computer for future reference. All right, it's now 2 o'clock. I think we'll start. Okay. Students, today I'll be talking to you about interview skills. This is probably the final chapter or the final barrier that students will encounter when they're looking for employment. Okay. So it is only it is significant that you know some of the basic information that you need before the interview, during the interview, and after the interview. Okay. So the objectives of this presentation is really to take you through what you should know before the job interview, during the job interview, and after the job interview. Right? You know, there are various types of interviews that we have. We have face-to-face interview, right? This presentation is going to be concentrated on face-to-face interviews. Some employers, they prefer telephone interviews, okay? You might have a Skype or a video conferencing interview where you have like 3 or 4 people that are joining together and listening to you while you're talking. It's called a video conferencing or teleconferencing interview, right? It is very important that you know the place of the interview, right? I have encountered students that they're coming right at the last minute. Like, you know, you have like 5 minutes before the interview and students are looking for the place, right? First of all, you should know the place. Where is the location? Where is the street address? Even the phone number. So you have to do a little research, okay? If your interview falls on Wednesday, probably on Monday, you might like to call the place. Where are you situated? It's very important to check and ensure that connectivity and space is available. You know the place, the location. Where is this organization situated? Try and arrive probably about 1 to 1.5 hours before the interview. Equip yourself, right? So this is all the things before the interview, type of interviews, right? So I'll just click here. I want you to just watch this small video, okay?
Hi, I'm Jeff, and this is my friend Mike. You probably know us as the interview guys.
Today we're coming to you live from Jeff's apartment, where we're going to teach you 5 great ways to prepare for a job interview. And make sure you watch the video all the way to the end, because we've got a big surprise for you. Okay, Jeff, what's our first job preparation tip?
Now, our first tip may seem obvious, but it's amazing how many people don't follow it. Tip number 1 is that you always need to be well rested. That means no all-night cramming sessions. You need to be alert when you're in the room so that you're able to give clear and concise answers and maintain a high level of energy and enthusiasm. Okay, I got to get changed for my interview. Mike, can you handle the next tip?
Sure, Jeff. Job preparation tip number 2 is to dress for the job. If you're interviewing for an office job, you don't want to go in wearing beach clothes. And if you're interviewing for a lifeguard, you don't want to go in wearing a suit. Dressing as you would at the job you're interviewing for will help the interviewer envision you in the role already, which can only help you get the job.
Okay, I'm ready for my interview.
Jeff, what did you do to your hair? And what are you wearing?
I'm going for a bank teller at Citibank. Do you like my shirt?
Yeah, it's really cool. But I'm not sure the bank is going to think so. This, folks, is an example of what not to wear. Okay, Jeff, while you go change back into the proper attire, I'll do tip number 3. Our third job preparation technique is to clean up your online presence or social media presence. Companies today are being more and more thorough when doing background checks on their potential candidates, and this includes Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn profiles. Make sure you don't have any incriminating photos or foul language written on your wall.
Job preparation tip number 4 is to figure out where you're going, how long it's going to take, and the transportation options available. You don't want to be late. One thing is for sure, if you're late, you have already taken yourself out of the running for the position. It's always good to give yourself about 30 minutes of extra time. Worst case scenario, you get to prepare a little more while you wait.
Our final tip is the most important one. You need to practice. It's important to prepare and practice examples of interview questions, but you don't just want to give cookie-cutter answers that you find on the internet. You want to tailor your answers to the company you're interviewing with, and you do that by infusing your answers with the qualities or strengths and abilities that the company you're interviewing with values.
Don't worry, because we can show you exactly how to tailor your answers like we mentioned, because we prepared a special report that explains our tailoring method completely and outlines exactly how to prepare perfect answers to every interview question.
That's right. we walk you through our proven step-by-step process for giving perfect interview answers in our hugely popular free special report.
So simply click the button in the middle of your screen now to get your free special report. This is Jeff and Mike, the interview guys, saying thanks for watching.
Okay. Okay, this is just a little summary, just this little video that I've shown before the interview. Okay, first of all, you should be well rested. Okay, if you're a Angolan drinker or cover drinker, don't drink cover the night before the interview, because it's really going to bog you down. It's really going to, you know, your questions are not going to be forthcoming, your answers, all right? So you should be well rested, okay? Next, dress for the interview. Yeah, should be dressed for the interview. If you're going to interview for a position, a clerical officer, don't go in wearing another type of attire. If you're going to interview for a forestry guard or you know, for the Ministry of Agriculture, probably you might like to wear something that is you know, that is okay or relevant to that particular position. So you dress up for the interview. Clean up your online presence. Online presence means your Facebook account, your Twitter. If you've written some swear words about somebody, you never know. That person might be the person who's sitting in the interview panel, okay? If you said some bad words or, you know, you've really angered somebody, you never know, that person might be that manager's son or daughter, whatever. You clean up everything, you know, on your online account, on Twitter or Facebook, right? Because these interview people, they can just go onto the internet and check your profile, all right? And right there at their profile, they see your Facebook account, yeah, your picture, right? Your picture, some people, they like to go, you know, wear little clothes, just less clothes, you know, when they go on Facebook, just trying to show everybody their muscles and all that. These are the information that you try to clean up online, Okay, so you should be very, very careful on information pertaining to you as a possible candidate for the job during the interview. All right, so you clean up your online presence. Next is punctuality. Punctuality talks a lot about you. Talks about your time management skills. You are very, very good with time management. You are very strict with your time management. You're very punctual. You might like to arrive about 15 minutes or 20 minutes early. Don't arrive late. Okay, that speaks volumes about yourself. So punctuality is very, very important. Okay, when you're responding to questions, make sure you tailor your responses. And practice before you go to the interview. Have a mock interview with somebody. You might like to just tell your friend to ask you some of the probable questions that you are preparing, that you are seeking to know the answers. Listen to yourself. These are some of the things that you prepare yourself. Tailor responses, and please practice. Practice with somebody that you know, your friend or probably your elder brother, right? That way you'll be able to listen to yourself, the type of English that you have, how loud it is, okay? I've been in a lot of interview sessions, and some people who have come in for interview, you hardly can hear what they say. They're mumbling with their words, you know. We are asking them, okay, tell us about yourself. And you'll be an icebreaker, and then they, my name is this. You just can't tell what he's saying, Okay, so you've got to practice. Practice 2 or 3 times, at least 2 or 3 times, Practice makes perfect. That would be the buzzword now, You will get better and better and better if you practice, Right? During the job interview, you must create a good impression, They always say that the first impression is the lasting impression, okay? Make a professional impression of yourself, all right? If you've got Very big hair, you tie it up nicely. Put a little lotion in it, just to tell the panel that that you've had a a good bath that morning. Okay, because body odor, if you're sitting from somebody, you can actually smell the person. And that's not very conducive when you are in a when you're in a situation where you're marketing yourself. Right? Probably the table might be just from there to here. If you're sitting here, that person can actually smell you from here, right? So make sure to have a very clean bath that morning, before you're going for the interview, right? Don't use a lot of deodorants and things like that. Just use a few, right? I was just in an interview panel. I think it was last year that I could actually smell the person, like from about how many meters when the person was just coming inside the room, right? Some ladies would always like to use a lot of perfume on their bodies, right? So you can smell them from 50 meters away, Please don't use the body fragrant that could actually smell from far away. A very piercing kind of smell, Make sure you use fresheners that are very, very soft, soft smelling, Okay. During the job interview, you must have a professional image. Your body language, right, has to be conducive, right? Remember, you are marketing yourself, and this is the last hurdle for the dream job that you've always wanted. And your response to question has to be very good. Very good, I mean, it used to be grammatically correct. The English that you use very simple and understandable English, Your responses. All right, I want you to listen to this, just watch this video, Sorry.
Welcome to 30 Seconds to Impress. Did you know that studies have shown that the outcome of an interview can be predicted within the first 15 seconds? This means that when it comes to interviewing, first impressions matter. We gave our actors 30 seconds to play the role of a potential candidate. Based on first impressions, who would you hire?
Who would you hire?
Hi.
Hello. Are you Anthony?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Hello. Nice to meet you. I'm Lauren.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh.
I need to put myself together. I'm sorry I'm late. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's okay. All right, have a seat. I have your resume here. So what's going to happen is I'm going to ask you a few questions.
Okay. Yeah, I have a question for you too.
Okay.
Regarding salary and vacation time.
Okay.
So that's for the salary
well,
first.
usually we discuss that later on in the interview process, but if you really... Hi, come on in. Are you Marissa?
Oh, hey, yes, I am. Thank you so much for having me today.
Oh, you're very welcome. Have a seat.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. All right, so I have your resume here that you sent in, and I'm just going to ask you some
Yes,
questions.
oh my gosh, since I sent you that, I also have done so much more. I've been volunteering, I even have a part-time job. It's just so great.
Oh, well, that is fantastic. Do you have an updated resume for me or anything?
Oh, no, we can just talk about it.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, let's get started then. Hi, come on in.
Hi.
Are you Krista?
Good.
Are you Krista?
Yep.
Okay, great. Have a seat right here. Okay, so I have your resume here that you sent in earlier. And so what's going to happen is I have some questions for you, and then at the end, you can ask me some questions, and I will answer your questions for you if you have anything you want to ask me. Okay. So let's get started. All right. Hi, come on in.
Hi.
Are you Todd?
I am Todd.
Hi, Todd. I'm Lauren.
Hi, Lauren. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Have a seat.
Did you get the resume I sent in?
I did. I have it right here.
Okay, great.
Thank you very much for sending it. We appreciate it. So I have had a chance to review your resume. And so what's going to happen today is I have some questions for you that I'd like you to answer. And then at the end, you're going to have a chance to ask me some questions if you would like.
Okay, great.
All right. So let's get started.
Okay. Okay, Mom, I gotta go. I'm in my interview right now. Yes, right now. Okay, I'll call you back. Bye.
Hi, come in.
Hi.
Are you Caitlin?
Yes, I am.
Hi, I'm Lauren.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Have a seat right here. Okay. So I have your resume here, and I have some questions for you. And then at the end, you'll get a chance to ask me any questions that you might have about the position.
Okay.
All right, so let's get started.
Hello?
Hi, come on in. Hello, are you Steven?
Yeah.
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Lauren. Come on in, have a seat right here. Okay, so Steven, I have your resume here that you sent ahead of time. So what we're going to do is I have some questions for you, and then at the end you'll get a chance to ask me some questions if you'd like. Okay. All right, so let's get started here. Anthony comes in and he is already running late, which is kind of strike one. And then he hands me his portfolio so he can fix his tie, which is really quite awkward. I'm not really sure what to do with it. And then after I sit down and start explaining how the interview process is going to work, he interrupts me in order to ask how much he's going to get paid and how many vacation days he'll get, which is very inappropriate. And at this point, I don't even want to continue the interview. Marissa comes in and is obviously very enthusiastic to be there. She seems pretty friendly, a little bit over the top, but not something that would count her out entirely. However, then when I begin to explain the process, she interrupts me in order to tell me that she's done a lot more things that aren't listed on her resume. However, when I ask her for an updated resume, she doesn't have anything with her and says that we can just talk about it, which is pretty unprofessional. From the second Krista enters the room, I can tell she is not with it. When I ask who she is, she says good, which makes me have to ask her again. Obviously, she was not listening the first time. Then, when she sits down, she looks all around the room and doesn't make eye contact with me at all. It seems like she really just doesn't want to be there or doesn't care. Also, her gaudy jewelry is really distracting.
So let's get started.
Todd makes a good impression right off the bat. He's dressed professionally in a suit and tie, and he shakes my hand firmly. When I offer him a seat, he asks me if I received his resume, which is fine. But the real clincher is that when I'm explaining how the process is going to work, he's looking at me, making eye contact, nodding, and I can tell he's really listening to what I'm saying. He might not be the most friendly candidate, but he's definitely professional. Caitlin enters the scene, and I'm not sure if she thinks I can't hear her because she's still in the hallway, but she's hanging up with her mom, which makes her seem really immature. Also, she's wearing a cute outfit, but it's really not formal enough for an interview. Then I notice she has a huge flowered bag, which she puts on the table, which is very distracting. When she sits down, she assumes a very relaxed position, and she starts sipping her coffee, and overall, she just seems way too comfortable. Instead of knocking on my door, Stephen pokes his head in shyly. Then when he enters, I notice he's wearing a polo shirt with an eagle on it. That's not quite professional, Stephen. Then he gives me a really limp deadfish handshake and sits down to start the interview. He crosses his arms in a really standoffish gesture and starts shaking his legs back and forth. I can tell he's really, really nervous, so I feel kind of bad for him, but that doesn't make me want to hire him.
All right.
Based on what I've seen so far, Todd is the best candidate and gets the job. Remember, always arrive early, dress professionally, give a firm handshake, be confident, and smile. For more interviewing tips or to schedule your own mock interview, contact UVille's Career Services Center.
All right, there you have it. Okay. Can you tell me who was selected during that that session that we had? Obviously, it was Thorne. He dressed professionally. He was ready for the interview, and his handshake was firm. Remember, when you're doing your handshake, it has to be firm. Don't squeeze the person. I mean, the person's hands. Okay. You must have a firm handshake. Not so soft and not so hard, just right in the middle, just right handshake, Have a firm handshake, Okay, so these are other additional requirements. Sometimes after the interview you need to sit an aptitude test, okay. I think with UN embassies, with UN agencies that you actually apply for jobs there, you need to sit an aptitude test, with the banks, I think you need to sit an aptitude test with the bank because they want to test, your banking technical expertise in banking. So there's some organizations that have extra apart from the job interview. You need to sit an aptitude test. Some organizations, they test your proficiency skill. So you need to sit another proficiency test. They want to test your English. How good at you? In your writing and speaking English. I think in New Zealand and Australia, when you're actually applying for a job, for countries like Fiji, when you're applying for jobs in Australia, you need to sit an English proficiency test. And then in other organizations, when you're applying for a job, you need to sit practical assessments, and then probably supervised by the panel. All right, after the interview, when you're sitting in the panel, what we normally want to have students or people who are applying for jobs is to ask questions. Sometimes when you ask about the salary, but obviously people want to know the pay for that particular position. But that's not the question that you normally ask. So first of all, you just try to thank the panel. For the opportunity to be interviewed, to be selected. You have been selected for that particular job. There are probably about 60 to 70 people, and you have been selected, to be the best. You thank the panel. Thank the panel for the opportunity to be interviewed, right? Or you can just quietly leave. You don't have any questions, or wait for the company to inform you of the outcome of the interview. A lot of people, they ask human resources people who are in the panel to tell them how soon will I be able to know the outcome of this interview. All right. So that's a very important question. How soon would you be? Would that particular organization inform you the outcome of that particular interview? Because interview really is just a formality. It's probably they have selected another person. A lot of organizations, they do that. All right, now that's how we conclude our sessions. Are there any questions? Like I mentioned, people who have just come in, don't worry about the presentation. You can come and get the presentation from me at the careers office, which is behind Westpac Bank, just next to the Disability Center. All right, all good? We've got another 25 minutes. I'll just take you through another session, which is called Career Portfolios. Just bear with me. All right. Just put your hand up if you have made a career portfolio. Sometimes it's called an interview portfolio for yourself. Nobody. What about an e-portfolio? I think most of you have come across an e-portfolio. Hands up those who are doing courses in tourism. School of Tourism? E-portfolios? No one? All right. Now, e-portfolios, those are soft copy of evidences, that you send out like emails and all that. But career portfolios, sometimes it's called interview portfolios. you may have seen in the interview video that the person was holding, sort of like a folder, like, a thing that he, like a book or something that he brought during the interview. Have you seen that? In that interview slide? Now that's called a career portfolio, which is, which is also important document that you take during the interview. These are evidences that that you have collected through the years of your study of your work, some of the short courses that you've done, probably your degree, some commendations that have been received from people who know you, that you've received the best research article that you've published in a prominent magazine, for instance. That these are all the accolades, all the accomplishments that you've gathered through the years. Okay. Now, what you will do what you're going to do with this is to actually collate it into a folder, right? And these will act as evidences that you take during the course of the interview, or that you show to the panel. So I'll just take you through this. Right, the overview of this presentation. What is a portfolio? What does it consist of? And how to compile it. Okay, so you can see some of the pictures there. Okay, just turn to your partner and take turns to talk about what you do during your spare time. Okay, just turn to the guy on the right-hand side of you. Just tell him what you do. This is just an icebreaker. Some of you are falling off your seats, almost sleeping. Just tell the person what you do in your spare time, okay? I can see some people just dozing off to sleep. All right? Or probably you might like to talk to, just tell him what are some of your interests. Okay, that would be relevant, Or even shake hands. Just shake hands to the person next to you, please, Please do that. All right? Shake hands, but don't scratch, No scratching, please, All right, thank you. Okay, there are two questions that I'd like to ask you. Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? Can someone put up their hand and tell me? You come here to the university to do a degree. What do you see yourself in 5 years' time? Probably teaching in a school all your life, and or creating a big accounting business and be a partner in a big law firm, probably in the next 5 years. Right? Who would like to start? First question. I can see a lot of ideas just coming out from your minds, but please, come on, you are USP students. This girl here, what do you see yourself in 5 years' time? That lady? This lady here, perhaps you'll ask this lady, what do you see yourself in 5 years' time? Or how do you see yourself in 5 years' time? Imagine your career path, You don't want to be like the same old John in 5 years' time, isn't it? Right? When I started out as a career person, I went from several jobs, for about 5 or 6 jobs. Then I ended up here at the university for the last 7 years. I've been here at university for the last 7 years. I started off as a teacher, then I went to the Ministry of Youth. Became a senior development officer. Then I went right up to director level. Then I went to the Fiji Boxing Commission. Then I became the CEO of Fiji Boxing Commission, did some boxing promotion and all that. And then I joined the university for the last 7 years. So what do you see yourself for the next 5 years? Are you going to be the same person for the next 5 years? Obviously not, eh? Because if you're going to be if you're going to be the same person in the next 5 years, I don't know, there must be something wrong there. All right? Because you begin to set aside your career path, you begin to build up your plans. Eh? Your plans begin to materialize in 1 year, right? We all make plans in our career path. That is the reason why people have gone to work and they've come back to university to study. They're also earmarking for much more bigger and brighter jobs with a very good pay, as you become older and get mature. Right? Next question, if you were to start a business, what line of business would you go into? I'm also an entrepreneurial trainer. I teach people business skills to start a business. That's my other strong point there. My other attribute lies in that particular area. I'm also a businessman. I have a lot of businesses going. I'm a fisherman. I sell fish every week in the market. Okay? What line of business would you go into? All right? Are you thinking of starting a business? I can see that a lot of yeses are coming from people that are looking straight at me. Well, for your information, the university is finally able to get a grant, right? The students can actually apply to start their own business. That is going to happen in the second semester, right? So we will inform you when that comes along. There's a grant that students can actually apply to start their own businesses. It's not only here, back in their home country. But one thing, you have to attend the training. All right. Back to career portfolios. This is your career, your experiences. Career is right in the middle. These are built up through the years. Your goals, you begin to achieve your goals. Some people do not get to achieve their goals because why? They marry at an early age. Their plans are disrupted, probably for so many reasons. They fall in love with a wonderful boy from somewhere else, and they have children. Okay, so their plans are disrupted. Their goals are disrupted. But your career sits in the middle. Right? So all your goals, your experiences, your interests, your values, your skills, and of course your educational experiences all lead to the enhancement of your particular career that you are passionate about, that you have decided through the years to be. If you decide to be a doctor, decide to be a forester, or if you decide to be a fisherman like me, I go fishing every 2 weeks. And sell fish. All right? So the career is very, very important. What is a portfolio? It's a documentation. It's proof, all right, of what you have to offer to an organization or employer. Usually it's a soft copy, things that you save in your computer, or it's a hard copy of evidences. The certificates that you received during graduation, or some short-term training that you've been to. These are hard copies of your evidences or proof of that particular training that you've been through. Right? A portfolio is a show and tell. You are showing to the people, to the panelists, people who have come, to give you an interview. Right? It's a show and tell. It's evidence of your knowledge, evidence of your skills, evidence of your attributes, those attributes that you've accumulated through the years, that you've built up through the years, right? And of course your capabilities. What are you capable of doing, right? If someone has a heart attack beside you, are you able to perform CPR training to that particular person? What are your capabilities, right? A portfolio is also an extension of your resume, CV. Obviously, you can put all these evidences in a CV, right? In a CV, you might say, okay, I've done a research. Please refer to my portfolio, because Because in a career portfolio or in an interview portfolio is your hardcore evidences. Okay? You have all your certificates there, all lined up chronologically or alphabetically, all right? That you show to the interviewer or to the panel, right? It's also a selective collection of documents. Why is it selective? Who can tell me? Do you put everything there? Or it's just a selective, eh? You select the appropriate ones, the ones that are relevant for that particular position, all right? So it has to be selective. Not every little thing that you do, you put in put into a folder, eh? Or into your portfolio. It has to be selective, right? Or appropriate, or relevant to that particular position that you've applied for, eh? Right? Why do you need a portfolio? Why? You want to be better than the rest of the people who are coming for that particular post, eh? Who are applying for that particular post, eh? What are you painting a picture? What kind of impression you are telling these people in the panel? That you are the best. You have prepared yourself well for this interview. I'm coming with a career portfolio, eh? A folder with all my evidences. Okay? You're putting that, you're telling them, I am competitive, right? You're giving that competitive edge over all the other applicants who've applied for that position, eh? You're trying to be the best, eh? You're selling yourself. Okay, a well-constructed portfolio, it sets you apart from other applicants, right? You are different because you've set aside everything. You've got very, very good management skills. You're managing your evidences very well. You're collating information as they come. How you've built up through the years, your experiences, you're collecting them in a very uniformed way, eh? By using a portfolio, right? It sets you aside from other applicants. It displays your uniqueness. You're a very unique person, right? You're very unique, eh? Right? And a portfolio says more about you, not less. It increases your knowledge, yeah, to the other panelists or the people who are interested in you for that particular position. Eh? Says more about you. Opportunity. It creates an opportunity. Why? Because it elaborates more. All the things that have not been told in a CV are told there in a portfolio. So a portfolio really elaborates on yourself to the panel, okay? Elaborate on the sections of your CV which you are most proud of. Like, so if you've written down in your CV, I've done some research, or I was awarded this particular gold medal for this particular research that you've done, right? In a portfolio, you can showcase, you can tell the people there in the panel, hey, hello, I've got a certificate, an accolade or an accomplishment that was presented to me about this very important research. You want to showcase that part of the CV that you were not able to show in the CV. So you'll show that in a portfolio. You would like to include additional information about yourself that is relevant to the job in which you are applying for. That's the opportunity that's creating. It's also creating that opportunity for you that you're able to highlight your skills and achievements, right? Skills that you've achieved through the years of your work. Most of you have worked for 15 years, have decided to come back here to university. I see some matured students here, all right? Obviously, they've been working for some time. It was similar to me when I worked, then I came back here to university, then I studied, then I went back, then I came back here, then I studied, then I went back. You are building up your attributes, your competencies, and your skills. So the evidences are significant, are paramount. These are the evidences that you put in your folders that I'm trying to tell you. Right? It also creates an opportunity to prove your professional development. Like when you're working, everybody wants to know about how professionally advanced are you. Like if you've been for any staff development training or any exchange with any other university, and then you've got an accomplishment or certificate from that particular university, right? You will showcase in your portfolio your professional development. So it's very important that you put that in your career portfolio, career or interview portfolio. Career and interview portfolio really means the same thing. This is the document that you take during an interview, and the document that you keep. You know, most of you keep it in a safe and all that. It's a very important document, right? It is the story about you. Everything about you is there. Very important, right? It also creates an opportunity to demonstrate your qualifications. Some of the qualifications you might not be able to demonstrate in your CV. In your CV, it's going to be there, just a soft copy. I mean, just a written. I've got a Bachelor of Arts in HR, or a Bachelor of Arts and a Bachelor of Law, right? With a career portfolio, you can showcase, I got a certificate right here to the panel, okay? What are you people trying to, to see in me? I am the best person for this job. Look at me, I got the certificate here in my career portfolio, right? It's hardcore evidence. It's proof that you've been through this university and graduated with this degree, yeah? So the opportunity to create your qualifications and experience. All right, so those are the contents of a career portfolio. Right, the contents would be your personal information first, right? Your name and where you come from, and your date of birth and so forth. Right, the knowledge information about you. What are some of the skills and abilities that you have? Skills could be, there are a lot of other skills. You have soft skills, you have hard skills. You have a lot of skills, even good skills, even bad skills. Yeah? What are bad skills? Like skills that you can probably steal or, steal from other people. Eh? These are also good skills, but you've used it, in a bad way. Eh? But there are a lot of things that have built up, like your attributes, your competencies, your abilities. Right? You can have a section on skills and attributes. You can have a section on training, hardcore evidences on training. What are some of the achievements? Right? In your contents page, you can have a section on achievements. In your portfolio, what have I achieved during my lifetime? What certificates have I collated through the years that are relevant for this position? And then, of course, your experience, your job experiences. When you're applying for the job for the first time, like you can see in the advertisement, it will tell you, we want a person who has 6 months experience in this particular job. But since you're a university graduate, you can fine-tune that. You can say, look, I'm a fast learner, okay? If you teach me on the job training or hands-on skills learning, I can learn very fast. I could become an asset to your organization. These are the things that you can change from negative to positive. Because the employer knows that you don't have any job skill. You're a university graduate. All right? So that talks about experience. And of course, your interests. What are some of the interests that you have that you can put into your portfolio? Interest. Myself, I'm interested in fishing. Because I've been fishing since I was a young boy. Yeah. So that's why I go all the time. So these are some of your interests. If you read a book, right? If you write a book, my interest lies in reading and writing. My interest, I'm a very good presenter. All right? I can present very well. I'm a very good report writer. I can write reports very well. I'm a very good, I have analytical skills. I can foresee the direction a company will take, say, in the next 10 years. These are very, very good skills. And you have soft skills. You have, your skills become your interest, obviously. Creativity. How creative are you? Can you make a jet engine? Like if you're a student in science? Or can you make create a product as part of your research in science? How creative are you? Right? If you've done a project where your creativity has been commended, right? That commendation certificate should go into your creativity part of your portfolio. All right? Endorsement. Endorsement is very, very important because you have accreditation from a lot of universities, right? All these evidences, they have to be stamped, they have to be recorded, they have to be endorsed by an appropriate authority to say that these certificates are legal. Legal tender, like a legal tender note that you can use to buy and purchase things. So all these documents that you're collating in your career portfolio, they have to be legal tender. Therefore, you need an endorsement. Maybe endorsement from the Vice Chancellor of the university or from any appointing authority that's been nominated by the university or from any organization that has given you a commendation for that accomplishment that you've done. All right, so that is the contents. Right, now we'll just try and go through all the content pages there. Documentation, your personal. Right? From your personal, number one, you can have your career summary and your goals. What are your aspirations? You know, as a budding accountant or as a trainee accountant, what is your career summary? Right? You can actually include your CV. Your CV also has to be that career portfolio. Right? When the panelist opens it, on the documentation personal here, it must have your CV there inside, all right? The hard copy of your CV, not the soft copy, the ones from your computer. This is the hard copy. We have a new CV format at the Career Center where we actually put a picture of you on the left-hand side, top left-hand side corner. Like we have a page that we just half up the page. Right, in a portrait page, and then you have your picture up here. Then you have your career profile, or the introduction of your CV, and then you can talk about all the other contents pages of the CV that I talked about yesterday. It's a modern format that we're using, and it's very, very effective. We've given to most of the students the modern format, and they've been able to find employment. It's very, very neatly done. You have your name and address on one side only, and on the other side, you have all the other things that that you put into your CV or your resume. So if you also need that copy, you can come and see me. I can send it to you. Right, CV there is very important. Right, you must have a mission statement. Right, for your career portfolio. What is your professional goal? What do you hope to achieve, say, in the next 5 or 10 years? If you're a budding accountant, probably you might like to say that in the next 5 years, I want to own a big accounting firm like KPMG and be a big partner. Right? With the documentation and knowledge section, you must have all those information that I've listed there. The course contents of relevant courses, some courses that you've done research in, you might like to put it there. Relevant courses, and some evidences of the courses that you've done. You've done land management, you might like to put some of the very important core units that you've done. The next, your results, your transcripts. Right? A lot of students, they just hide their transcripts if they see that there are a lot of EXs there. EXs means you haven't set the exam. They just hide their transcript. No. In a career portfolio, you must add your transcripts. They are very, very important. Because even if they see a degree, they don't know what's behind that degree. And now it's different because a lot of employers are going for your GPA. What is GPA? Someone? Do you know your GPA? Okay, GPA is your grade point average. Okay? If you haven't set for any exam in one of your units, your EX is going to be there. Student Academic Services will not erase the EX. It's going to stay there as long as you live on this earth. Right? and it's going to pull your GPA down. All right? So make an effort to pass all your courses. If you have a D or an E or an EX, those grades are going to stay with the system, with the transcript all your life. They will not be raised, and they will pull your GPA down. So GPA is also very important. Just last week we had a graduate recruitment for KPMG, and they wanted students with a GPA of 4, to be graduate accountants. And I was counting around some of the students there, and from the list that we had there, we had only about 3 who had about 4. All the rest, they had about 3 or 2.5, 2.7, 2.9. Because they had some failed grades. Because if you don't have failed grades, those grades are going to be there in your transcript, like I just mentioned. It can't be taken out. So you should be very careful of your GPA. All right? Your results, your transcripts, and then your aptitude test results. If there are certain times you've set aptitude tests, the results have to be there. If I'm an employer, I would really want to have a look at aptitude results. Because aptitude results, like personality results, aptitude test, English proficiency, ELSA test. Hands up those who set ELSA test. ELSA? Second years? Have you set ELSA? Okay. All these are very, very important, that you put the results in your portfolio. Right? If you've done some research assistance, right, you can actually add some paper examples there in your portfolio. Right? In the documentation skills section, forward, right, you can put your teamwork, samples of group projects that you've done, okay, commendations from your lecturers, you can put there, right? There were some things that you accomplished, there were some other things that you did not accomplish, you put it all there. Your IT, those of you who are doing IT, there were some programs, or probably programs that you created. If you were doing networking, right, and they were certified by an accreditation authority, these are things that you put down there. Very, very important in the documentation and skills section. Right, your communication skills, you have to show the people in the panel that you are proficient in the English language, both orally and in written. Right, some evidences must go in this part, in this section here. Results of language tests, like I talked about, ELSA tests. You've done UU 114, right? That's a compulsory unit, or UU 114, and UU, what is the other one? The computer one? UU 100, right? Those are compulsory proficiency tests, both with the computer and both with the English language. It prepares you, like UU 114, it prepares you to write, write academic essays, how to write academic reports, report writing, all those little skills before you go on to further units. Those are very, very compulsory units. You have to do first. Right? In UU 100, they've just introduced recently because of computer. Everything is computerized now. So you have to get a proficiency, get a pass in those 2 units, and those 2 should be added because they actually tell the person, tell the panel that you are proficient in the computer and also proficient in communication, English and oral both. Creativity, right? If you're an artist, you're a sculptor, okay? In commendation, you won an award, put that award or that evidence in your career portfolio. Right? If you've been given a task like leadership skill or supervisory, right? You've led a team of researchers, or during mid-semester break, you go out and do community development work in one of the villages here in Fiji, or probably come to my island in north of Tailevu, right? You've done some community work there. And the villagers have commended you with all the work, all the work that has been done. The evidence you need to go into your career portfolio. What is the extent of your experience in these skills, like participating, demonstrating, teaching? These are all the work that people have done. But we want evidences. Career portfolio is all about evidences. It's no use putting them in the CV and you don't have any evidences in your portfolio. We need evidences to show. Remember, you are very different from the other people that are vying for that particular position. You have to market yourself very well. All right, in the documentation's achievement section again, you can list your accomplishments, your certificates, starting with the current ones first, right? That's chronological order. The most important ones are the ones that are now, current. You don't put the oldest one first, no. The oldest ones comes last. All right? The current ones comes first, and then you go down. The awards and honor certificates, most of you have got a gold medal. If you have, you put it there, some evidences. Transcripts, degrees, some licenses. Like if you're applying for a driver position, you have to put your driver's license, isn't it? Right? Not only the general driver's license, you can put in the various categories that you can drive, right up to big 10-wheeler trucks and all that. In Fiji, you have multiple licenses like that. You're not given a general driver's license. If you drive a taxi, there's a different license. So there are several licenses if you're applying for a driver's position. Okay, and certifications, which is very important. Research papers, right? That's not relevant at the moment because you're all students, but this would be relevant for people who are like master's students. I've seen some matured students here probably doing masters or even PhD students, right? Research papers, and reports. Sometimes you have to write some very, very big reports for your assignments, right? And then you see that it's been marked and they give you an A+. Then you thought, oh, probably I might just like to put this because it shows my research ability, your abilities, right? It's going to matter in the interview. If you are applying for from the probably a lecturer's position, right, at a university, remember, you put the things that are relevant to the post. Don't put everything, Conference papers, if you're delivering or doing a presentation or on anything, on a conference or, that's very important to this position, you put down the conference papers that you are going to be presenting on, And right at the bottom there, publications. If you're doing publications, right, you've publicized some very important information in a prominent magazine, and you've had all these commendations, right? All the commendations I want you to put there in the thing, All right. Okay, this is just a presentation of the of what I'm talking about, a career portfolio. Okay, there you have it. You have all those little indexes that are there, probably A, B, C, D, easy to find information. All right. Any questions? Are there any questions? No. Yes? Okay, with an online interview, it would be different, because like I told you, in the beginning, that you have e-portfolio. E-portfolio is your soft evidences that you normally keep in the computer. Those ones you can send to them. These are the hard copy ones, the ones that you are called for interview, that you present to the panel. So if you're doing an online interview, probably you might like to send all those, your e-portfolio to the panel. Your e-portfolio is all the evidences that you keep in your computer, like your emails, commendation probably in a Word form, all the soft copies, and things that you keep in your interview as evidences for, for the experiences and the job that you've done through the years, have you built up through the years, Right. So it would not be appropriate to, to send your hard copy to that particular organization if you're doing an online interview. All right, any more questions? No more? All right, thank you very much, students. We've got Tanya. Tanya Tambuya is the HR manager for Digicel. She's here to do a presentation on career development that's available with the Digicel and anything that would interest us during our job search skills. Probably she might like to talk about interview skills again, right? Or what to expect, eh? Right, a round of applause for Tanya, please.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
So, in terms of what you want to do with your career, I hope you already know what exactly you have in front of you in terms of the next year, the next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. And if you don't, that's all right, because that's what we do when we come to this kind of session. Now, I actually went to USP as well more than a decade ago. So I've been there, but I do not know what has changed since then. And this is where you can help me to probably help you get to where you want to be. But in terms of the topics that I will be talking today, very much on my role. Yes, when I first met Sammy, I was a HR manager, but I've since then moved roles. I look after the transformation requirements for Digicel for 6 markets. In terms of transformation, and that's what I want to build in today's presentation. So just the first one. This one? Yes. Okay. Fantastic. So I would like to talk about transformation leadership, because as you leave USP, you are transforming to another profile, from student to employee or unemployed. That's the reality, right? Or continue to depend on your parents, or continue to search. That is the transformation that you take when you leave USP. Or as you stay here in USP and build your career, you are still transforming, because what? Mentally, you are gaining. Socially, you are gaining new people as well in terms of your network. How are you using all this information? How are you actually leveraging off all these benefits? That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you see that from an employer and from a person that looks after transformation for 6 countries. It can be challenging and it can be awesome. So before I can go any further, I will need all backbenchers. Apologies for the on-the-spot request. Please come forward so that I can save electricity and just talk. I need this to be a Talanoa session so that you walk away from today, you walk away with something that you can use for your future. That's my one request. I'm here free of charge, right? Digicel continues to pay my salary to come and present here, and I would prefer that you just do me the benefit of coming closer so that I can see your face, so that I go past you in town, I can say hello. All right, come forward, please. Please, do not resist change. Move forward.
Okay, please could you just fill up the seats in the front, please?
Come on, guys. Yeah. Ladies, move to the front.
It really makes us easier to actually be looking this way than seeing all the seats that are filled up in the front first. Eh? It's much more easier to do presentation that way too, isn't it, Tanya?
Yes, Sammy. I've known Sammy for a while now, and we've done a bit of this, but today I really do not want to see any first row or second row being empty. So come closer, people, come closer. I have 2 hours here, so we can use the 2 hours just to get you closer. Come on. What's up with backbenchers? Do you know that in a workplace there's no such thing as backbenchers or passive passengers? Come forward, please. Start practicing now. Come on, look at these people. Move forward. Remember, I can also walk up and ask for your names and your IDs, and I'll start announcing as I walk across this. I'm quite bold. Come on. Oh, look at him. All arms crossed, white shirt, spectacles. Come forward. See? That's us. All right. So what are we going to talk about today? First, to probably build some trust, relationship, and rapport. That's very important. Some of you date, some of you wish to date, right? The first thing you do is try to get to know the other person, right? Same in the workplace. You have to build trust, you have to build rapport, and the only way you build rapport is to talk, right? And for you to ask. So what am I going to talk about? First and foremost, the journey. What has been my journey? And what can you take off from my journey? I mean, I've failed, and I've been successful in certain things, and in certain things, there's no feelings. So what can I share today? So that's what I will do in the first few minutes, the journey. And then secondly, because of my role for a few years now on transformation, I would like us to define transformation together. I would like us to define leadership together, because transformation leadership is not just about in a fancy project or taking one network to another level of network. No, transformation leadership is actually every day, right? It starts personally first before you can take it to team level or business level. So we'll do define transformation, and then we'll go, just take the two definitions, transformation and leadership, combine it, and talk about what is transformation leadership, right? What does it mean? What kind of competencies do we look for, right? And the most important thing is, how do we build competencies in the workplace? That's reality, because if you're going to come and work with me, I will ask you to do something, I will train you, demonstrate, but the maturity to build your competencies, that's on you. I'm not going to hold your hand. We could probably hold your hand for a few minutes, but not throughout the day. Yeah, that'll be just awkward. So we'll talk about building competencies. And I want you to ask me questions. Like, if you need examples, I'll give you examples. And then, for me personally, what is success of transformation leadership? I will say personal because I love my job. I'm passionate about my job. So I'm currently in a project that's called Digital 2030, and it's common knowledge. You can even access it online, and I'll show you what the link is all about. And lastly, how can you lead as a transformation leader on your own? Leadership is at self-level, team level, and even bigger groups. So you can be a leader of leaders. That's how you transform yourself from this level to the next level, right up till you feel that you've reached the ceiling. But even when you reach the ceiling, there's still more to be done, honestly. So let's start talking. The journey. What has been the journey like for me? So I graduated in 2007 from here. And then I took a break, right? Before I took a break, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to go to the banks. But hey, I'm here in Digicel. The reality was that I did management in economics. I graduated with that. But I started off with a major my program was in LLB. What was the change? So even while I was in university, I transformed from one program to the other. I thought that I was going to make a great lawyer, but citation just bored the hell out of me. I'm not going to be the person that sits in a library. I'm not going to be the person doing research and building up case details. Sorry, that's not me. Luckily, I realized that quite early in my life. So I went into management economics, breezed through it in the sense that, yeah, just passed, enjoyed my uni life, did part-time work while I was studying, but I kind of like just breezed through it. Was I really passionate about my work, my studies? No. Can I remember things that I learned from uni? Definitely yes. I can remember my MG302, I can remember who was my lecturer, Subhash Chapana. I do not know if he's still here, but he was one inspirational lecturer along with Mr. Sunya Vosikata. So the things that I love, I remember. And that's what I want to challenge you today. For me personally, the things that I was passionate about, I remember and I can even apply it at work. So when I left uni, I had already done about 4 months of attachment, free of charge with Consumer Council, did the policy attachment review, did the pricing research. I think that's where my economics kind of like helped because of the models. But it helped me to reevaluate myself. Because my mother, who was alive then, asked me, right, what do you want to do, Tepola? Like, yes, I was introduced as Tanya, but at home I'm called Tepola. Everybody called me Paula, Tepola. If they're angry, they'll say, Tepola. So she asked me, what do you really want to do? Because I seem to want to do everything, but not really a particular thing. That's a challenge, right? Imagine that. I came into uni, I wanted to be a lawyer. But first year, I found out, like, this is just not me. I'm not going to do this. And I found out later as well that first year lawyers do not really make a lot of money. That was not me, right? Because I'm driven differently. So I thought about it, and I started sending my application all over the place, from Reserve Bank to SPC to PSC, even to schools, Ministry of Education. So I waited. I got some acceptance. I even got calls for interviews. But I was picky because I like to visualize. I'm a dreamer, which is not great in some cases. So yes, I do not want to name the places that I just did not turn up to the interviews for, which is not great. I should always call them up. If you're not going to attend the interviews, please do that. Never follow what I did, because you never know. You might meet up that person in your first job or your second job, and they'll be like, hey, I remember you. I called you. You never turned up. So lesson learned, try and observe some human decency. Right? If somebody calls you, be humble. Thank them. Right? Go and attend, or don't attend and still tell them. So because I'm passionate about certain things that I want in life, I was quite picky with where I wanted to go. So I attended this graduate program public session. It was done at Holiday Inn with British American Tobacco. I sat in there. Was right at the back, just like how I chased you people to the front. I was right at the back, just sitting there and listening to them. And I said, this is where I wanted to go. Because just like I said earlier on, I like exciting things. I like things that I'm passionate about. So I went for 2 years, global management training program. Enjoyed lots of things, did not enjoy some things. Came out of it, worked in Australia, worked with the Samoan, Tongan team, Fiji team. And then I reach a stage where I say, okay, what else is next for me? HR was great, projects was great. And I saw a advert in mid-2015 for Digicel, who was like head of HR, had all the details, opportunity to manage 3 companies in one role. So I was like, yeah, that's a kick-ass role. I want that kind of work. Challenging, so different from what I was doing, manufacturing. It's about telecommunication, which was fast-paced. And Digicel, I'll say we are the disruptor, right? So that means we will always try and think of the latest, biggest thing or the best thing so that we can attract your attention. So that got my attention. First year into the role, started doing big projects as well. Started working with regional teams on certain aspects of our offices and even on the way we operate. Amazing enough, I had to work with people that have international experience. People that have actually taken one company, that probably started with 5 or 10 people and grew it to 100 people. People that probably were not that educated in terms of having a master's or even completed a degree. Some of them were just dropouts, and that's the reality. That's how innovative my current employer is. So they saw the potential in you, took them on board. Even our former Fiji Chief Technical Officer, Kalpesh, graduated from here as well, around the same age as I am as well. We all more or less graduated the same year. Back then, did we have telecommunication studies or engineering as a program? The answer was no. He's an electrical and electronics engineer. But guess what? He had the core, the transmission unit for all 6 markets. How did he get there? It's through hard work. It's through embracing transformation. It's through great leaders and his own leadership skills. And the same thing I've observed with so many people. And these are USP graduates, FNU graduates, people that just finished off from high school and did a bit of work with Digicel, and Digicel sent them to Jamaica, came back, they did projects, they worked in different departments. So that's how I saw myself from back then in USP till now. I've worked with great people, right? And I've learned a lot from them. And I've learned from my mistakes as well. And I hope you will do that today as well, is ask me questions that will help with your journey. I've shared my journey with you. Now your journey is just about to start, or it has started already. What will you do about it? What is your important question? Always have the important question in mind. Sometimes people say, have the ending in mind. But we are all geared differently. I've just, before I came in here, I picked up my 2 nephews, finished off from Digicel Nambua. We were just wrapping up on a team building exercise, and it was about Aspire Leadership. We launched it last Friday, and it was on our Saturday's paper. And as I came out, the last thing I heard from our boardroom was team building, communication, and who was the leader in your group? So we were only given spaghetti, marshmallows to build a freestanding tower. And obviously what we would do was look to the engineer and tell the engineer to tell us how to build the freestanding tower. Some of the towers that were built as I left the room were already collapsing. And the ones that were collapsing had the engineers in that group. So it was a bit funny because we had the marketing people that built the best tower, and it stood for a bit while. So that was my lasting impression when I came out. So think about it, right? You can be an expert in a particular area, but you need a different person altogether to help you to be better. You can have the expertise, but that's why we work with different departments to deliver results. Thank you very much. That has been my journey. So what I will do now is a bit bold. Like I said earlier on, I'm a bit bold, can be my strength and can be my area of development. I'm going to divide this group into 2, right? So it'll be just quite simple for me. Straight up here, group 1, group 2. Are you from Tonga? So from here, this is group 3, group 4, group 5, and madam, what's your name? Nalisha. So here, what's your group? 5, group 6, and group 7. Boys, up to you. If you want to join group 7, go ahead. So what is going to be our group activity and the first item after the journey? I'm going to disregard group of 5 because there's a lot of us, and just quickly call out, what does transformation mean to you? What does leadership mean to you? And what does the digital world mean to you? There's a lot of you. Either you want to break it up in one question each, or you want to do a ring-a-rosy. Everybody start feeding in information about what is transformation to you, leadership, and digital world. Right? If you want to do a Google search, feel free to do that, so long as you can confidently present it to everyone what the meaning, what the definition is all about. So in your groups, start working on it, start discussing it. So group 1, you want to come down here, up to you, but I need you to start operating in a group. Right? Do you all know each other? And if you don't, start knowing people in your group. And the same in this group as well. So I'll need some name. I've already got Alicia's name. Hello, what's your name? Alesta. Alesta. And hello. What's your name? Wanga. Alesta Wanga. No, the gentleman right at the back. What's your name? Seta, right? Lester, Wanga, Seta. Madam in green? Petrina. Yes, sir. What's your name? Paul. And yes, what's your name? Oh, come on. Have you heard him?
Raymond.
Raymond, good stuff. All right. Yes, the guy that's chewing. What's your name? Paul. Paul. What's your name? Now, you are all, the people that called out their names, you're all responsible to get your team to start discussing. Right? So I will be calling out your name and you'll bring your group here. You've got 5 minutes. Think about it. What is transformation to you? What is leadership? And what is the digital world? Okay, everyone, 5 minutes. Start operating like a group. I'll be observing and taking photos as well.
Refreshments that you took.
Yeah.
Look at the group here. Big lot.
Oh,
compared to your lot, people can be only other.
He was sad.
Yes. Yes, the lady Tanashi. You know, when I organize a big event like this, people never want to come in this kind of
Territorial, eh?
Yeah, the territorial side. Because of their boss, the deal.
Oh, and Angela.
Angela.
Which is not good, eh?
See the crowd now here?
Correct.
We will be giving out certificates for them.
Huh?
Certificates will be giving out.
You know, that's one thing I totally forgot.
It's okay.
Yeah?
We're putting up the certificates here.
Gosh, thank you so much. There's
Yeah.
one thing I totally forgot. But I was excited to come today.
Yeah. So I've taken, before you came, I took 2 topics. I took interview skills and career portfolios. You know those documents that you take to career interview?
Oh yeah, sure.
So I said 4.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
So it's just 3:30. All right.
Oh, no worries.
You know my office, eh? We have a spectrum with the disability offices, careers offices there. Right, if you need any assistance, you just come. I can write your letters, do your resume, and all that. Oh, I think I got a card here. It's my email. If you want to send your CV, just send me a soft copy, and I'll work on your CV. All right.
I've actually given you extra 2 minutes. It's more than 5 minutes. Leadership. Yes. That's my idea.
So, Tanya, so what was the crowd like in that thing?
I actually counted everybody in that room. It was just 32.
You were really gunning for about 100 people.
Because I'm going to see you. And imagine I've been engaging for about a month. For
For 1 whole month?
The build up,
So you took them on this, the leadership and
No, I took them through the graduate program. The graduates are starting next year. 8 of them. But
I think Meko will make it a CEO. Because we have graduate curriculum too. We can invite people.
Okay. So how are we doing? Okay, we'll have this group to first present and the last one will go to the side for presentation. I'll give you 1 minute before you come to the center front to present. Everybody, find your seat, presenting, please. Last question we have. Ladies and gentlemen, what's your group called? How long did you say? All right. Move forward, people. Start present. So feel free to volunteer to present afterwards as well. One guy and team have number 2. Okay, come here. Do you want to use the mic? Yes, please. Have you seen him talk? No? First time. Okay. What's your name?
Paul.
Paul again.
Darren. Yeah.
Just Moana Paul. Yes. All right, round of applause to our
Thank you. My role this afternoon will be about defining transformation. I think best way to define transformation for us is to look at the life of a butterfly, how it transforms from being a caterpillar, then goes to its cocoon and it transforms into a butterfly. So that's all we have for transformation.
Okay, and then now for leadership, I don't have that much to say, but this is what we discussed, like able to connect into a group and able to bring out the best in your group, like and accept changes and yeah, digital.
Yeah, okay. Digital world means being interconnected through digital devices. Digital world is physically, it's something you cannot identify, but like it's something you can use your mind to see. Digital world, as Paul has discussed in our group, it's throughout the years, like this is something new for our generation, and yeah. Thank you.
Now, one thing that I would like to encourage all of you to do is when somebody presents, you listen, yeah, because in the workplace, when people are talking and you are talking, it's considered rude. Okay, so quickly for the 3 points, Paul talked about metamorphosis from pupa to butterfly. Darren talked about leadership, and she talked. The last thing I heard from Darren was on motivation and inspiration, getting the team to talk and all. And from Moana Digital World, it's about connecting the devices. She feels that we can see it. Sorry? Okay, the word there is virtual. Virtual, but good effort, excellent effort. Now we'll have Wanga's team to present. They volunteered. I'm a big fan of volunteer work, and he's looking to the back for his team. All right, round of applause.
Thank you. Just according to the Google meaning, transformation is a state of being transformed in terms of appearance or character for the better. Just one example for transformation that can be given to a person is the person who's being shy can be transformed from be confident and boldness. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Gregory. I'll be giving you our definition on leadership. Well, from our group, we think leadership is a position as a leader of a group, organization, etc. And also the time when a person holds the position of leader. Lastly, we also think that it is the power or ability to lead, manage, guide, influence, control, especially in making hard decisions on whether to take risks. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Semi, and I'll be defining the term digital world. Now, what we've discussed, we were divided into groups, and right at the back, we've discussed that it's a contemporary expression to communicate the importance of technology today. Now, we understand that once there was a promotion by the USP, especially if you were first year, they give you a free tablet. Now, we're all thinking, what is this free tablet about? So we were all thinking, maybe it's a free gift from USP, some sort of promotion. So we take that as an example of digital world. It's something that you connect you to your tutor, lecturers, not only that, even social media as well. So that's how we define digital world. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Wanga and team. So Wanga talked about transforming, and one of the key things that you can see from a person that transforms in terms of their character is being bold, right? And then we went into leadership. He also talked about how to inspire, to lead, to manage, to control, and most importantly, the last one was on digital world, right? He gave the example about the tablet. The manner that you finally got to know that there's tablet out there, there's social media, connecting you, connecting yourself to your tutor as well. That's interesting because that's what digital world is all about. So you're starting to see a variety of definition coming through, but it's still spot on. Now, can we have the next group to come forward? Awesome, come.
Good afternoon, my name is Paulson. I'll be giving a definition on the first one and the second one. In our group, we come up with a definition for transformation is a complete act of change in appearance or character. When we relate to digital, we might know that in some years back, our communication is through face-to-face and manual, writing letters. And today, this change has been made. And now you want to communicate, we just use the device, like telephone, to talk to your parents. For leadership, leadership is an act. It's an act of leading by influencing others. And we also come up with leadership is doing the right things. Thank you.
Thank you, Bolson. My name is John. I'll be taking us through the digital world. I think our group discussed a bit about digital world. I think what we've come out with is everything now is computerized. Everything is made available. Now we can communicate to other world instantly. It's digital. So I think that's a bit about digital world.
The explanation for transformation, guys, and leadership in the digital world is very good. I also work off on those explanations, the definitions as well. So for transformation, it's change for the better people, right? To make your character better. And when it comes to leadership, it's something like an act. It's something, it's not just a process. It's something that you need to do it genuinely. Because a leader is definitely genuine, does the right thing. Digital world, yep, John, thank you for that. Next group, please. Oh, group leader, yay.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today I'll be talking about transformation. Our group and I come up with the definition of transformation. Transformation talks about change from one phase to another, and from good to better or from old to new. I'll give you an example. I'll take the example for Digicel. I'm a person that loves to use Wi-Fi. So in a month, I pay $70 for the Wi-Fi, but it gives me 4 GB. It lasts me for only 3 days or a week. But from that 1 month, I diverted to buying $7 recharge card, which runs me for a week, but I really much enjoyed it because it gives me 7 GB. So that's the change from the transformation from like 4 GB in a month, and $7 just takes you for a week, but it's pretty cool using it. Thank you.
Leadership is lead by example. That's one. And the other one is the ability to organize and lead a group. Yeah? That's a simple definition. Thank you.
I'll be talking about digital world. Digital world refers to the interconnection through digital devices such as mobile phones, tablets, and media such as social media. Example, Facebook. Thank you.
Thank you very much, team. In the interest of time, next group, please. But your group covered it well. I like the example of transformation, not because it talked about Digicel, but mostly because you used your personal example. You talked about leadership, and digital world as well is very important. So now you're starting to see the change of definition. So from digital connection using digital devices in a digital world. Next group. Welcome.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Maya, and I'll be talking about transformation. Transformation is, by definition, is a marked change in form, nature, and appearance. For me personally, transformation is an example is when a few years ago, like I've had some friends that you know, they're like how can I say, they're like the appearance, they don't do makeup, so they don't do that. But after a few years, I met them again. They were like, wow, I can't believe them. But that's how I see a transformation thing. And even that shows in mentality, how you change, like not being the same, you're not satisfied in where you are, but you've changed the way you think and all that. So that's all of me.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nalisha, and I'm going to speak on leadership. So leadership is the action of leading a group of people or an organization. It's not just about leading, but it's also about inspiring each and everyone in your work environment or your colleagues. And for example, we can take from my experience, when I was a student back in high school, our teachers used to choose the naughty students to be the leaders so that they could, change themselves and become a better person, take the leadership roles of leadership. Some of them usually ended up being the ducks of the schools and etc. So, which was kind of inspiring for other students as well.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Shayal, and I will be talking about the digital world. So, to define digital world, it is a mean to interconnect through digital devices, digital market, which are available to everyone 24/7. An example of a digital device, as we all know, smartphones, tablets, how it helps us to connect through the applications, Facebook, Instagram, everyone uses it. And but there is another upcoming digital tool, which I would say is the virtual reality 3D tool. I think that's what it's called. But it enables us to, like, there's this Samsung VR gear I know of, which like when we wear it and then we are able to feel the real thing that is happening. And yeah, that was something interesting I found about the upcoming digital world. Thank you.
Thank you, Maya.
Thank you.
Right, so transformation, makeup, no makeup, high school days, those that were naughty were appointed into leadership roles, and then her example on the VR, Samsung VR. Any other group left? Come on. Oh, okay, you pointed, but they're the one coming. Yours is next.
Good afternoon. I'll be talking on transformation. Transformation is the process and ability to change and adapt.
An example of transformation, just to add on, the best example I can give is yourself. Just look at yourself and compare to yourself a year ago or 2 years ago. Are you the same person, or have you transformed in one way or another? So I guess we all are the best examples of transformation, and I would be defining leadership. According to our group, leadership is the ability to influence, aspire, give direction, and take responsibility. Take responsibility regardless of success, regardless of failure, and a good leader or good leadership is when you lead by example and when you lead with ethics. Thank you.
I'll be defining digital world. Digital world is everything and anything on a digital device or computer. Nowadays, it plays a very important role in our lives because everything is on computers now. Everything we used to do manually a few years back is now on a computer, and it even saves time and it's faster to do on a computer. Thank you.
The spin that this group has actually presented is how we have moved from manual to everything being on online and automatic. That will be covered in the few slides to follow. He's looking for support. He's coming.
Good afternoon, all. Our definition that we've come up with it is transformation. For us, I'm sure that the term itself is quite self-explanatory. Transformation is change to the better, or usually associated with unexpected outcomes. So the definition that an example would be a change from a student to an employer. Also, in the process, there are unexpected outcomes, maturity levels, etc.
Good afternoon, all. My name is Anmol Pratap, and I'm going to briefly define leadership in my own understanding. So, leadership isn't just a mere buzzword or a quality of value which teachers chalk it out on a blackboard. It is the very fundamental mechanism by which society is formed, functions, and governed, so that we are able to sustain in future and head in a positive direction. A leader is a person who embraces change as a law of nature and nurtures his wisdom in his people, the very same people who hold him to that high of an esteem and recognize him as a legitimate figure entrusted to maximize their social welfare. The leader is the medium who transforms his people using their collective knowledge and takes them into the next stage, today's age of connectivity, also known as the digital world.
Okay, I'll be talking on the last concept or digital world. And already you have had previous speakers, they already put across so many definitions. So you already had that one. So, to my opinion, or to my thinking of the digital world, is just a matter of combining everything that's from manual to online, or you are already talking about connectivity, all those sort of things. So it's just a matter of combining the world together to become, to make it easier for our life when you are working on things, especially, in companies, or what sort of things you are doing. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So this team has actually brought all definitions together, connecting each word to the next one, to the last one. Last group? Yes. Don't worry, this is the last one.
Okay, our group, he'll be discussing about the transformation, and the other one he'll be discussing the digital world, and I'll be discussing the leadership. Okay, for leadership, for our definition here, leadership is all about getting people together, and then it's all about teamwork, participation, and enlisting and guiding the talents and energies of your people in a workplace.
Hello everyone, my name is Sharvanit. From my opinion, transformation is moving from your comfort zone and embracing new things, new challenges, and new world. For example, moving from primary school to high school and to tertiary now, and then after that, after graduation, we'll be working. So this all are like a transformation for us. Thank you.
For our digital world, so far we have a good definition of digital world. For our group, it's just modern technology that embarking on the modern times, and it's more necessarily using internet. A few examples of it is the e-buying and transferring
money from device, and it's like it's good, but we don't really sure if it is safe or not. But it is a thing that we have to adapt to it. Thank you so much.
And this group brought up security. So you will see from each presentation, it starts to differ. Now that's the importance of working in a team, and that's why I wanted each one of you to have an opportunity to present, is to build your capability around presentation, about looking at something. I even encourage you to look at Google, do your search on Google so that you can have your personal interpretation to what is happening around you, whether it's from the phone or from the discussions being held. So I've also put a personal explanation to each word. And this is based on my personal understanding, not so much from Google. So I see it as a state, both part 1 and part 2. Transformation, state of changing from one state to another, but a better state. And nearly all of you actually talked about it. The need to change is something that we need to also look at, right? You transform because there's a reason. Just like a butterfly, it needs to go from pupa to butterfly. And leadership, you don't just go into a group and start leading them, right? It doesn't work that way. There needs to be a need to lead. And if you're leading, what are you leading? You're leading people. And what do you need people to do? That's something, again, that links to the need to change, right? Because when you're leading people, it's like taking them from step 1 to step 2. A manager is different from a leader. Just bear that in mind, right? A manager is totally different from a leader. A manager is appointed. A leader volunteers. A leader is inspirational, as most of you people have already highlighted. But it's about achieving results. Now the last one is your digital world. Yes, virtual connections to communicate, whether you're using devices, laptops, or even earpieces, or your refrigerator, smart refrigerator. The world is now connected. The digital world brings this huge universe to a small universe because we're all connected. In Africa, PNG, I can have a Zoom call with them. I can cover off the very same thing I need to do versus going to see them face to face. Right? Obviously, as human beings, the feeling is different. The feeling of face-to-face meetings will always be different from your web conferences or your teleconferences or your Zoom calls. So now let's bring it all together. That's you. You have your digital competencies. Now in the digital world, you must have the skill set, the competencies. How are you going to build it? You need to start thinking about it now, because we do not want you to go into the workforce and go into a culture shock. Right? For those that have done management, you've learned about the emotional curve. People go from denial, shock. Does that sound familiar, management students? Yes? Yeah. So we do not want you to go into the world like a baby, right? Too innocent to operate in a digital world. Start building that capability, that mindset to allow you to gel into a digital world. Transformation, the need to change. You are here right now. What will you change to be successful out there? Leadership. You do not need to be led to lead. You can lead on your own. So how will we do that? Right? Typically, there are 4 steps to building competencies. If you think about driving, right, learning how to drive, there's your car, there's your teacher, and there's you. Do you know how to drive? This is in the provided condition is that you 100% do not know how to drive. For some of you, you may drive without a license, so that example does not apply to you. So this person does not know how to drive at all, went through the driving school, there's the car. Step 1 is unconscious incompetence. Yes, you may have read some of the guidelines around driving, but you really do not know how to operate. So as you sit in the car, the instructor will tell you, okay, seat belt on, keys into the ignition, turn it on, adjust your, or before you even turn it on, adjust your rear vision mirror, adjust all your mirrors, everything. Make sure you have your seat adjusted properly. So that's instruction going from step 1, because you do not know. So he has to instruct you to do it. Think about it. Here in university, if you've never learned about electronics or you've never learned about management theories, from high school, you are learning about maths, English, history, computer, physics. But as soon as you walk into the classroom, you start talking management. You start talking unilateral, bilateral, right? Motivation theories, Herzberg. You're building your competencies. So you go from unconscious incompetencies, which is I do not know, to I now know that I do not know how to drive this car. I now know that I do not know what management is all about, right? But then you need to be exposed. You need to be provided the necessary knowledge. So you go to step 3, conscious competence, right? Or competencies. So what this basically means that as you drive, right? Yes, I remember what the instructor told me about driving. Right, I have to do all of this. You're still conscious about your new skill set, new knowledge, right? You have to tell yourself what to do when you take the right turn or the left turn, right? And if you're driving manual. So you're quite conscious of the new knowledge. But as you practice, what happens? It becomes second nature. Right? You just go and drive. You don't have to tell yourself, oh, is my rear vision mirror all okay? No, because you've been doing it over and over again. Now the same with studying, the same with communication and presentation. First time that you'll do it, very nervous, right? Sweating. Some of you guys were standing here and your hand was going like this. Some, as soon as you came to the front part, the closest spot is the easiest spot, so you present from here. Some decided to go right to the back. Team member 1, 2, 3 there, right? So you kind of like use that one as what you call that, human shield, right? But when we're sitting here, we can see you. So I hope you understand what you need to do now. You're going out there into the digital world, right? And you will need to have both attitude, university knowledge, and experience, right? Think about learning how to drive. You don't move from step 1, right, out from high school and you think you'll know how to drive. No, you go through the steps. That's human nature. That's, even if you want to type, you'll need to do that. You go through the ASDF, semicolon, yeah, I think so, and space bar for your thumbs, right? But now I don't even think about it like ASDF. I just look at the screen and fire away. I think I can type 120 words per minute, I think. Last time I checked was 90 characters per minute. So, but as it goes on, you don't even track your success because it's second nature. So what does it mean to you as a student? Yes, you need to excel in your studies. Yes, you need to start looking out there for part-time work so that you can start applying, start perfecting the art. And then most importantly, right, applying your knowledge is not just about finding part-time work. It needs to be second nature. You remember what I mentioned to you earlier on. I did law, but I found out that I didn't really like it. But some of us may not have the luxury to do that, right? You're here for a purpose, you need to study, you need to make it work. We are all different. So it's important for you to know what works for you. And if you do not have a choice, you need to plan. You need to make it work. There are lots of examples in this world where people did not even like what they were studying. Think about Ratnamara. Right? He went to study medicine and he was called back to study something else. He wanted to become a doctor. But did he make the decision to go and do leadership and economics at Oxford? No. He was instructed to go and study otherwise. Whereas in my example, right, I made the choice to move from one to the other. Sometimes you have the choice and sometimes you do not have the choice. So you need to make sure that the key questions that you ask is, what am I in control of? Are you in control of your situation? And even when you do not have a choice, right, you still have to be in control. Think about it. All of us have to do Form 6. People here in Fiji to come to university. Do you have a choice to miss Form 6? No. If you do, you have to go and do preliminary. Right? Or you have to go and do something else to meet the prerequisite. So being in control is very important to move from one step right through till step 4. Now you will see that there is step 5 there. If you're starting to be a teacher, right, you'll only become a great teacher if you master it, which means you train others to train other people. If you're just teaching for them to go out from here, then that's not mastery. That's still step 4, unconscious competence. It's second nature to you, but you're really not taking the next level of making them great educators, great coaches, great inspirators. So to be in step 5, it means that you excel. You excel in the art of unconscious competency, or that step to go to the next one. So think about it. A great doctor does brain surgery like this, but he goes home every day. And then he dies. All of that skill set, that competence, useless. An awesome surgeon just did what he had to do, right? Got some of us healthy, treated us. But when he have to move on, there's nothing there to tell us that he parted that knowledge, that competency to somebody else. That is the challenge for us here in the Pacific. And I see it in most of the markets that I work in, is our ability to share successes. And it's because when we're in university, in high school, right, what do our parents say? Study Coca-Cola, you stay home, study, do not go to the Coca-Cola games, do not do anything else, you just focus on yourself. Self first. Yes, but you think about the Kaiviti, Kaindia, when it comes to weddings, oh, we spend everything, right? Right? But when it comes to success, sharing success, we don't really share. We can actually share information to tear down the successful person versus building up that person or that idea. When you build up that idea and that skill set, that's mastery. And that's my #1 challenge to all of you, is master it. Master unconscious competencies. For you to move to step 5 means you share it. You coach other people to be as good as you are. And let me tell you something. I do a lot of coaching at work. When I coach people to do certain things, I found out for myself a better way to do it. You get better in it. Because as you talk, as you demonstrate, you kind of like re-educate your brain, yourself, your mindset. Hang on. there's a better way to do it, because as you talk to another person, they give you a different perspective that you may never consider. So please, people, think about it, do it, go home, talk about it with your family. Now, you will see the last box says risk, complacency, risk, complacency. When you're complacent means very relaxed, don't do anything, you are smart. It's okay to have B's and C's and sometimes D. Right? Yet you're naturally intelligent. First year, you probably have aced everything. Second year, because you think that you know, you start to relax. And when you start to relax, your skill set gets rusty. Your mindset gets to become fixed. It's no longer a growth mindset. So you move from risk, from step 6, which is like risk, you go back to step 3. Conscious competencies. It's like, hey, I'm an awesome driver. Drive. Too much talking with your best buddy, crash into a tree, right? 2 weeks later, you're driving again, and guess what you're doing? Driving like 60, 40, right? Looking everywhere now. So you become a conscious, competent driver again versus someone that was at step 4. So I hope you think about this, right? I hope when you go away from here, you think about leadership skills. It's voluntary. It's about inspiring every person and transforming. There's a need to transform to a better state. Digital world. How do you use the digital world to connect for your own betterment? And that would mean when you want to connect, you don't just go and connect to everyone and anyone. Prioritize who do you want to connect to. Very important, because the last group talked about security. Your security is about your future, ladies and gentlemen, so do not connect to anyone and anything. Right? Be targeted, be sure of what competencies you want to build, because you're transforming now from student to something else. And some of you would want to master the art of being a student, so you'll stay here until you do your master and your PhD. Now, in the interest of time, I won't cover development plan, but I would challenge you to do that. Think about it tonight. What is your development plan? A development plan must have 70, 20, 10 component. A 70% is on the job, or you practice. That's why I was encouraging you, go and do projects, go and do part-time work. 20% is on coaching, on development, mentoring, guiding. If you hear yourself when you're presenting, what did you say about leadership? Is it about boredom or inspiration? Inspiration. Right? So if your tutor is inspirational and you feel that they will unlock the steps from step 1 to step 2 to step 3 on competencies, then go to that person. But if you think you want more, then go to Sammy and start asking him, can I get a workplace coach? Because there's lots of us out there. Right? On LinkedIn, I'm a coach to a couple of USP students, not just a couple, a lot. Right, I avail myself for LinkedIn coaching. So when you go on your LinkedIn profile, just in case you do not know, hands up if you know what I'm talking about. Right, LinkedIn coaching profile. So you're on LinkedIn coaching profile? Yes. Hands up if you're on LinkedIn coaching profile. Right, so that's a career hub, right? On your LinkedIn, you need to activate that. And when you activate it, that's like a radar gets sent out. And the closest coach in your location picks it up. And you start talking to that person. And if you want to meet up, obviously for coaching reasons, nothing else, right? Then you do so. I encourage you to do it because that's what the digital world enables us to do. So 70%, how do you apply your knowledge in the real world? 20%, enable it, inspiration, coaching, mentoring. 10% is what you do here in university, which is studies, readings, case studies, and just lots of studies. Before I leave you, I just want to touch on transformation leadership. It's about taking ownership of your own life by leading it, right? Having a vision is very important. You must have a vision of where you're going to. And if you feel that what you're doing right now may not fit into your vision, guess what? Every field of studies that we do can actually influence your vision, right? Like later on in my life, I look back and say, yes, I could have still completed my legal studies and I could still go into transformation, because when I came into Digicel, our legal team is all over the transformation requirement. But did I have that inspirational person or guide or mentor to tell me that that was possible? No. Because nobody came to USP back then like this. So rather than change your career path drastically like how I did, make sure you tap into that 20%. Which inspirator, which motivator, which mentor can steer you or help you make the right decision, right? Team. This is where your parents are right, 130% or 200%. Hang out with people that make you grow, right? That's reality. If you think that your peers are pulling you back, prioritize. Go and hug your friend and say, this is the last time I'm going to see you. You do not fit into my vision. But no, I would not encourage you to do that. Bring your vision to your friend. Share your vision to your friend, because that's how a great leader works. Right? Inspire your friend to be as good as you are. Remember what I said earlier on. Don't drag down the person. Build up the person. Right? But our parents are right. Hang out with the right people. And if you're hanging out with people that you love, but they may not fit into your vision, change them if you can. And if they can't, then just make sure that you are still diplomatic about it. Remember what I said earlier on. Human decency. Don't just say, no, I'm not coming to your interviews, and that's it. Right? Make sure you have the human decency at all times. Right, inspiration and motivation, I've covered already. Have the right people to help you move from A to B, state 1 to state 2. So, in terms of business case or actual examples of business transformation, I would encourage you to just go into our website and you can read a lot about what Digicel does in the space of transformation. So Digicel 2030 is our current transformation project, which I look after for 6 countries, and it's an ongoing journey. It's going to be there till 2030. So there's, just like how you see the competencies, we actually have steps. We have roadmaps right till 2030. But it will change because the needs of the business and our consumers change as well. So I hope you've had a great time. I'll be here for about 5 minutes to take any questions, to take any comment, to help you move forward with your career. So in terms of wrapping it up, right, I've talked about the journey. And I hope my journey can help you define your journey, right? I've talked about, I've asked you to define transformation leadership, and the new one that I added there was digital world. You did fantastic, and I was so proud to see all of you presenting, or at least the representatives from your team. And then we talked about what is transformational leadership. Transformational leadership, all of you can be a leader. All of you can take charge of transformational leadership. Transformation in your own areas and own spaces. Lastly, building competencies. I've shared it. Make sure when you go back, think about the 5 steps. Never reach step 6, which is complacency. I'll just bring it down. Given you a business example of transformation, go and read up. Right? If you want to find out more, ask Sammy or reach out directly to me. And then you must lead. Lead in your own space. All right, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure talking to you. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Any questions? Yes.
Thank you. I believe it's been a very informative session for us this afternoon. And I love the way that you present about the company and also the wrap-up. Which brings me to a question, and which I would like to ask you, ma'am. Being a HR manager, would you consider having a graduate with a Bachelor of Science in Engineering or Electrical to sit in the HR department and do the admin responsibilities? Yunaka.
One of my two IC though, when I was head of HR in the Fiji, in Digital Fiji, that was in 2015. He is a graduate in information system, right? And he has done Cisco, networking, the whole works. So as an engineer, we hired him because we're a telecommunication company and we need people when they start talking or motivating people, they motivate people technically as well. So to your question, yes, because I've done that personally. I hope that answered your question. Awesome. But what he had done though, different to that, was that he built his competencies before I hired him. Right, so he had the development, the coaching, HR management requirements, projects, coupled with his qualifications. His name is Malasa, by the way, and he goes with me to most of the presentations that we do. Any other questions or requests? Any vacancy? Yes, we have been advertising crazy for the last few weeks. The reason being is that we have expanded our business and a lot of vacancies have gone out externally, even in talk. Any other question? Yes, to your question, we do internships. Most importantly, we do graduate development program. So exactly 3 weeks ago, we had advertised it. I personally came here in USP as well and did an awareness session on our graduate development program together with the CEO. We've just closed the assessment requirements last week, and we are having our first batch next week. So we've, from over 300 applications or so, we've actually taken through 80 of them through our assessment center. From the 80 that went through the assessment center, only 12 went through the final assessment and interview. And from the 12, we've only got 8 that went through online personality survey and technical questions. So we went through a hell of an assessment, review, interviews, and online filtering to get to our final 8.
Okay, Tanya, I just want to ask a question.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, you can see from the audience that we have here, we have some a lot of Pacific Islanders.
Yes.
From Vanuatu, from Solomons, and from around the region. Okay, just for their benefit, do you have digital openings, in around the region, and whether these USP students can actually apply for positions, or the graduate recruitment program? Or do you have a global graduate recruitment program that students can actually apply to be actually working in their respective countries where Digicel is situated as well?
Yes, definitely yes to that question, Semi. So we're, for the markets that I look after 6 markets. That ranges from Fiji, Nauru, Vanuatu, Samoa, Tonga, and I also partner with PNG now and again. So that's just the Pacific countries. Then we also have employees that work in New Zealand, Australia, that look after our diaspora, or the international business side of things. We also have people that work in Miami. We also have people that work in Myanmar, Singapore. We also have an international office based out of Ireland and New York. So the opportunity is there, but it just basically means that as you go from junior to mid-level, to senior, to even international level, so we have regional and international levels, you seriously need to develop your competencies. You seriously need to challenge the way you work and the way you approach your future. If you think that just having a degree is sufficient, the answer is no. Right? We need people that have Cisco. We need people that have a black belt in Lean Six Sigma, Prince 2, project management. There's a whole lot of things that you need to do, everyone, before you enter the workforce. That's a challenge, right? Because if I have to just give you an example of what we just did with the graduate program assessment, nearly everyone had a degree. But if you're in marketing, you will know that you need a USP, unique selling point. So if you do not have a USP in your profile, unfortunately, we do not even do a second glimpse because we have lots to review. Right, so answering Sammy's question, yes, we have opportunities in all markets. We continuously advertise it, and we even engage publicly to allow them to know more about our company. Tonga got thrashed with the cyclone Gita, so our office was pulled down, but we're still very much operating. We're operating out from a hotel right now, and we've also pulled up our own office as we speak. It's now being renovated. So this is the reality, people, is that when disaster happens, some of our markets get affected, but it does not mean we stop business, we stop employing people. It just means that people will need to work harder, work smarter, right? And we recognize their effort for that. Right now, we had called in a few Tongan employees to come and attend the same strategic leadership program that I walked away from to come to this session. Any other question? How many of you are doing projects, though, for your units or assignments, major assignments? Hands up? Yeah? Right. And do you need companies to be part of your case study, or is it just something that you just answer and submit? You need companies as part of your case study. Okay, so I am volunteering my time, probably this next Wednesday. If you want to come and see me, we'll probably just let Sammy know where I'll be. Spend 1 to 2 hours here. Come with your structured questions and your points. I'll give you exactly 15 minutes so that I can move on to the next one. So altogether, there will be just 8 candidates that I will take, that I'll probably see and coach to help them with their assignment. In the interest of time, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and I'll see you next time.
All right. Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Mbuya, thank you very much for a wonderful presentation on leadership. Yeah? All right, just want to ask the students, do you know where the Career Center and Services office is situated here at the university? My office, do you know where it is situated? Oh my goodness. That's not good, eh? Okay. We're running workshops on career development. We ran a workshop on entrepreneurial fair in February. Okay, my office is right behind the Westpac Bank, right at the center of the university, right just next to the Disability Center. You know where the counseling office building is, counseling building? My office is inside there somewhere. It's just a small little office, right? If you would like Tanya's address or email or connections, you can come and see me there, right? If you're doing a project and you really need an organization to do your case study on, you can come and see me at the careers office. I'm situated there. And of course, your PowerPoint presentations that we have been doing for the last 2 days, right? They'll be readily available there. I can actually send it to your student number in your email address. And of course, your certificates. Certificates will be printing out the certificates tomorrow. Is that right, Vanessa? And the certificates are going to be available on, if not on Friday, probably on Monday, also at the same building. I may have given you some feedback or survey questions, please. As soon as you go out from here, you just leave it there at the front with Petero and Vanessa. We have got some, the Deputy Vice Chancellor has been very good to us and given us some money for some of your refreshments. Just to thank you for availing your time to be with us this afternoon. Thank you very much, students. Vinaka, just make your way slowly, right, and have your refreshments outside. Thank you.